is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/bgunlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we are going to be doing a no run-through review for Empires of the North, the new Barbarian Hordes expansion. Kat and I just got done playing both of the expansions, or both of the factions, and let's just jump right into it. Kat, what did you think of the female barbarian expansion? I already forgot the name.
It was something.
Oh, maybe it'll say it on the back.
Strange.
You think I would have planned for this? Boudica. Boudica. Yep. Has a simple plan. Just take what she needs. What did you think of them?
I mean, I actually thought she was all right. If there's one thing that I ironically don't do in Empires of anything is sail. So they got me to, push me out of my comfort zone and sail. But it was okay. It was all right. I mean,
right.
It wasn't like I was like, holy shit.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so she is actually incredibly interesting, and that's one thing that they've done with all the factions of Empires of the North is made interesting factions, which they have to be because they rely solely on their own deck. So as for her basic cards, she has two ways to sail. And like Kat said, that's all she is pretty much doing, is constantly going out sailing, pillaging, surprisingly not conquering a lot.
Yeah, because her point in her own backstory is she's just trying to get resources. She's not trying to overthrow anybody. She's just like, we're not going to grow them. People are growing them for us. Why are we going to grow them?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She is probably actually closest to the barbarian mindset that you would originally think, because she does constantly go out and pillage. Yeah. But she does have cards in her deck that do, allow her to get axes, like a bunch of axes, if you want to go that conquer route. So there's that one right there, which gets you more axes. So what she does is she has rafts and boats, and she can use cards to allow her to sail using a raft. So the raftaway teams. The raftaway teams. The raftaway teams card allows you to spend a fish to sail using your ship or your raft, and your raft can only go to nearby islands. So I thought she was pretty interesting. She had some pretty good combos of, okay, I'm gonna sail with my raft and then my ship, and then immediately play this card that gets me points for every ship and raft I have on the board, or immediate quick pillaging, where it's just boom, I'm just gonna do this and then get them back.
Yeah.
Which then, if you had the people or the resources, you can then go out and harvest with them. Because the only way you can, whenever you harvest, you actually use your own ships to harvest, and if you send a ship to do it, you just get more for it. I thought she was actually pretty interesting, but a little. Okay, for both of these factions, I think they are both I think she's underutilized in a two-player game, and he is overpowered in a two-player game.
That's what I was thinking at the end. I was like, there's a mismatched power element, and I definitely agree.
And she's a difficulty level 5, and he's a difficulty level 6. I don't see it. I think she's actually a little bit more difficult because of the fact that she has to rely so much on her ships to be able to get resources. You can't even just regularly harvest without having to spend something to do so.
Yeah,
and
so it's better just to get your ships out into the ocean and then call them back and then harvest. Because if you're harvesting first, which is what you naturally want to do in the game, which I made a mistake of doing that a few times, it's like, oh, I only have 2 or 3 ships.
Yeah,
it's
all my cards.
I can't go out. Yeah.
Right, all my cards cause me to go sailing, and now I can't do that because they're stuck here. Yeah. So she's, as far as I could tell, she doesn't have really big swingy points, where it's just I'm gonna play this card that's gonna get me 4 or 5 points. But she's consistent. You are consistently gaining points, and then so you would be up 4 or 5 points, and then I would do a turn or two that would catch me up, and then eventually it just got to a point where I finally had my engine of his his faction, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to just kind of take the lead.
Yeah.
So she has a couple cards like Terror of the Seas, which you gain a point for each one of your ship and raft on the expedition board. This is actually your big swingy one. It's an instant, but then you have cards like Plywood Ship, which is also an instant, that you spend 2 different resources to gain a ship. So that's how you gain more ships, which will then allow you to go out and sail a lot more, which get you your big swingy points from the Terror of the Seas. But all those are instants, whereas his big swingy points are actions that you have to do.
Yeah, because there were ones where I had actions where it's like, spend this to get that, and it's like, that's kind of secondary.
You know, surprisingly, actually, she didn't really have, like, a lot of her cards were very cheap, like, to do certain things. So I never really found you having to, like, struggle for resources, especially with how much you get from pillaging.
They were right about what I was used to in a normal game.
And then the other way for consistent points for her, the Boudica, is as an action you can spend a person and 2 different resources to gain 2 points.
Yes.
So, which of course is going to be happening a lot whenever you're constantly pillaging. But I felt she was both of these factions are kind of slow going in the sense that you need to build up to be able to get more ships and more rafts to be able to, okay, well, now I can do this. As well as the, what was it, Uvart clan. Urvart. He needed to build up to get his ambush tokens, which we're about to talk about him. But I liked her. I thought she was pretty interesting because, like you said, I never really go sailing either. I never really go conquering. And out of all the clans that have come out for this game, this is the one that seemed very heavy into doing that.
Yeah.
So I liked him. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give her, the Boudica?
For Boudica, I did have fun while playing her, and like as I keep thinking about it, like she does have a pretty good engine. It makes her a little one-notey though, because it's like this is what she's not really what's the word I'm looking for?
Versatile?
Yeah, versatile. There's only one way to play her, and it's the way she's built, which makes sense. But so for that, I'll probably just give her like a 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah, because I want to give her a 7, but I also feel like a 7 is maybe a little too much. Because she's still good.
I'd give her a 7. I'd give her a 7 because of her engine. Yeah, I mean, almost all of these factions are one note, though.
I guess that's
like,
true.
they all have the one thing that they're really good at, and it's just how are you going to... That's why I like this game quite a bit, is because the game is short. Mm-hmm. Like, first to 25 points, and then that's the end. So, by that time you're seeing kind of the same cards over and over, the game's almost over.
Yeah.
And she can be pretty gross if you can get... But you have to get the right cards out. But you never really had to focus on, okay, I need all of these, I need this one type of resource. Like these guys needed people. So I found myself constantly populating because all of his cards required you to spend people. You didn't really have that. It's just, hey, spend 2 different resources. Hey, spend the same resource. Keep constantly going sailing. And then it's like if people, like other factions that do sail a lot, that's the competition, because then it's if I'm going to sail and you're like, oh, I really want to conquer that island, or I want to pillage that island for the points or the resources, you have cards that let you jump ahead of them. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to be doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd give her a 7. 7 out of 10. Now, the Urvart clan, they have these ambush tokens. And the ambush tokens, what those do is very simple, and I really like what they've done with this, is they have actions that let you place these ambush tokens on other players' resource cards or action cards. And if they use that, if they harvest that resource or they use the action, then the Urvart player gets to take a resource from the general supply that the other player has. Like, so if they have a fish and wood, then the Urvart player can only take a fish and a wood. Mm-hmm. But it's from the general supply. It's not from the player, which is great.
Not taking away their resources.
Yeah, like, that would just be annoying.
I think they realize that would be too much.
Yeah, because it's like, because of how quickly he can just hand them out, that if I'm just constantly stealing resources, that'd be really stupid.
Oh, yeah.
What makes him overpowered is very specifically you notice how I had like 6 or 7 cards with her? I only needed 4 to show off with him, to figure out how gross he is. So he has first of all, he has 2 resources. Or two harvest cards, but then his other one, Welcome Wagon, you spend a person to place your ambush on a person's card. And additionally, you can do this effect for each other opponent. So this is actually useless in a 2-player game because I'm only doing it once. But if we're playing a 4-player game, I can spend 1 person and do this 3 times and just hand them out. But what makes him disgusting is that he has multiple Desperate Thief cards. I think just 2. 2 Desperate Thieves, which is spend a person to place one of these on an opponent's card. So not only, they don't do anything, they don't stop the player from doing stuff, but they're there. Because then now it makes you slightly second guess, oh, do I want to give him a resource? Well, okay, it's not that bad. Luckily, I'm not stealing from you. And if you activate the card, the token comes back. Then, so there's multiples of those. Then he also has his Tomb Raider card, which is you spend a person and a resource to gain 2 points. Additionally, if one opponent has 3 ambush tokens, you get a coin. And then his other broken card, I have 4, I realize it's actually just 2, but 2 Hasty Heists that you spend a person and a fish to get a point for each ambush token in the chosen opponent's empire. This is why he's disgusting in a 2-player game, because it's easy. I don't have to decide where I'm placing. You're my only opponent. I'm only putting these on your cards. Therefore, when I'm activating this twice, because I'm constantly having people, and since you're activating things, you, especially as the Boudica, you almost always had fish, so I just constantly kept grabbing fish. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to activate this, and then easily spend a person that I obviously have in a fish and gain 4 points.
Yeah.
Alright, 4 points. Oh, and then you're going to do something. I'm going to do it again, another 4 points. He is not balanced in a 2-player game. In a multiplayer game,
it would be better.
Yeah, I'd have to distribute it or really focus on one person. Therefore, other people are doing things without me gaining anything for it.
Right.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, effective from what I saw. It would be interesting to see how he does in a multiplayer game. Because, I was catching on pretty loosely by the end of the game where I was like, he's just like, if he can focus that one person, then, I mean, there's nothing really stopping him.
Right.
So, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Right. I actually enjoyed him quite a bit. Like, the theming behind these guys are, what's the little thing on the back? Has his spies in all corners of the world, which is what the ambush tokens are, to represent that they're stealing, other clans' information. Okay, how are they making their ale? How are they, where are they going to get food? And then we come back, and that's how we thematically get it. I never once felt like I was hurting for resources. Like, I was able to sail and do things just as much. Well, not just as much. You were sailing way more than I was. But yeah, like, they're pretty interesting. I do like both of these. And he's a difficulty 6. Maybe he's a difficulty 6 in a multiplayer game.
Right, yeah, I think he's probably got to behave differently.
Because in a 2-player game, it's like, well, you're my only opponent, so...
Yeah, so it's easy to take off, because it's obvious that you won't hurt for resources, because I'm your resource.
Yeah, exactly. So
because I need to gain them, and I need to use my cards to gain them, and it's just natural. It's just
right. So then I'm just
an
like,
involuntary symbiotic relationship.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna spend both of these. I'm gonna spend 2 of my both of them because I'm gonna spend 2 Desperate Thieves, 2 people, and I'm just gonna put them on your action cards, and then you're gonna do something else, and I'm gonna be like, oh, there's 4 there. Okay,
right.
4 points. 4 points.
Right.
All right, I win.
Right.
And for both of these factions, actually, a lot of their cards are extremely cheap. Like, his are wood related, but because of the Tomb Raiders, it allowed me to generate gold. And you might be thinking, oh, well, what happens if they don't have resources? Well, the ambush token just then gets me a gold, which is pretty gross considering the fact that if a person runs out of resource but activates a card, then the token still comes back to me, but I get a gold, which is a wild, and at the end of the game, a point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think...
It's a little gnarly.
They're pretty gross. I had fun with them though. Like, don't get me wrong, and I know I'd have more fun in a multiplayer game. But just if you only play Empires of the North with 2 people, understand that the Urvart clan are going to be.
He's gonna dominate.
They're going to be pretty gross
and not even try. Yeah.
And there's a few other factions in the game that are really good against, like just a 1v1 kind of scenario, and he's definitely one of them. I'm trying to think. I mean, really, that's really all these 2 do. Like, oh, that's what I was saying. All of his cards require to build are basically wood, and so that would just kind of have you think, okay, well, who here can generate the most wood? Okay, that player. So then I'm just going to constantly put my ambush tokens over there. So it is nice. Like in the multiplayer game, you would have the flexibility to decide where you're placing them, and be like, oh, okay, well, I'll which action do I think you're going to do next? You're probably going to sail, so I'm going to put this on the card that lets you sail. And then the only time you can't use these are if the person passes. So if you pass before me, I can't therefore target you and place them, which is a pretty good defense against him, because if you're able to get all your stuff done quickly and then pass, and I still have a bunch of, I can't then
pass them out later,
and then start passing them out to you. So yeah, what would you give him on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel like he's a little bit better. Again, I'd like to see how he behaves in a 4-player game. I'll give him, I don't know. He doesn't mind. I didn't play him.
I played him.
Oh, I guess I'll give him a 7.5. I'll just bump him up a point.
But 7.5?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I would give both of them a 7. I think that's... Because out of all of the factions that are in this game, I wouldn't rush to play these. Like, not that they're bad, I think they're really good, but like you mentioned, they're both a little one-note. I'd actually probably rather play her, because she actually has to think a little bit more about where she's placing her ships, how she's going to harvest, whereas he's just like, all right, just distribute those out, however, just
put them on there.
Oh, 25 points, I win. And
it didn't take very long.
With Empires of the North, it's a very simple game, and my favorite factions are the ones where you actually have to work for your engine.
Right,
and I didn't really have to work.
Because that's the fun part.
Right. I didn't have to work for his engine. I just had to populate. They had to fuck, they had to get a lot of people, and then they had to send them out as spies, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So, overall, Barbarian Hordes looks like you're kind of sitting around an overall 7 for the expansion. That's where I'm at as well.
My takeaway is it necessary? No. That's kind of my takeaway. My takeaway
is should you run out and like grab these? I would say yes. I don't think. Okay, so no expansion is necessary, but with Imperial Settlers and Empires of the North, the more factions you have, the better the game is. That's what made the Civ building super fun.
Yeah, I guess if I owned this, like let's say. I'm not your girlfriend, I'm your friend.
Yeah.
And I came over to play this.
You are my friend.
Are you breaking up with me? No. But like, and like I'm going home and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, okay, so I've got Empires of the North, just the base and some other factions, but like I wouldn't go buy that.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't go buy them myself.
Yeah, actually, for all the 3 that have come out right now, there was the Japanese, the Romans, and this one. I would buy them in that order. I like the Japanese faction a lot more. The Romans were really cool too, and the Barbarians did exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. The Barbarians are going to do
like a wish list and be like, I'll get it when I get it.
Yeah. Or if someone else could get it for me, then I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
They're good, but if you just have the base game for Empires of the North, and you're like, well, which expansion should I get? I've done a no run through review for all 3 of these now, so you can go watch my other 2. But here I'll just let you know that in my opinion, the Japanese faction has the more interesting factions. Romans are really cool too. and then the Barbarians. So that's our thoughts on the Barbarian Hordes expansion for Empires of the North. Let us know what you think of them in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.